Hi everyone, it's Danny. Okay, you might remember a few days ago I made a video about orchid inertia. I actually talked about orchids that somehow don't get watered on transport, in deposits and in stores, and what happens is the root system gets desiccated and actually dies. So when you get it home, no matter how much you water it, the pseudobulbs will go extremely shriveled, and this is a sign that the vast majority of the root system is dead and you should cut it. So today I decided to repot this orchid. I was not intending on filming, but I decided to film because I would like to show you how roots look like if they have been desiccated in comparison to those who rot. There is a major difference. Now when you're going to pull out this orchid from the pot, you're going to look at the root system, you're going to see it's pretty white and looks good, and you're going to think, this is really nice, so you're just going to pot up the orchid. But if you inspect it closer, you'll actually notice all these roots are desiccated and dead. They might not look brown simply because they died a short while ago, they didn't have time to rot, and actually they did not die from suffocation. They died from dehydration and desiccation. So when they die from that cause, they can remain intact. When you will press on them, you will feel they are very, very papery. And actually, if you look at a section of it, let's see. This one, hopefully the camera will focus. You will see there is no substance to this root. You will see it's actually dry. Pressing on it will confirm it. This is absolutely dry. There is no green to it, not even white. In some cases, in worst cases, you will see some browning. I would just like to show you the orchid so you see what I mean. Look at the sections of these roots. This is not how a healthy root is supposed to look like. And I'll show you how a healthy root is supposed to look like. So everything is actually dead on this orchid, even though at first impression it looked quite okay and alive. Now I will do something pretty bad here, but I'll show you how a good root should look like. This is an aerial root, and this orchid has quite a lot of roots. I'll make a section. I don't want to drop this root. I'll make a section here, and I'm going to show you how it's supposed to look like. There we go. This is a live root. In some cases, if the roots do not photosynthesize, they will not be so green. They will be a bit whitish, but still they will have this consistency. They will not feel papery in any way. This is pretty stiff, you can see. But in some cases, the section will be white but very consistent. And in the cases of aerial roots, the root will be green. Now, let's take another look at my roots. Let's choose one. So, hopefully you can see the difference. There isn't any consistency. You can see the actual root, the string in the middle, and there's nothing between the velamen and the actual root. This is a sign that this root is actually dead. Look at this, it's hollow. It's actually hollow. Now, the roots that die from dehydration and desiccation will pretty much be conserved if you get to them, let's say, a short while after they died. The more you water them, the more they will start to decompose. But opposed to this, the roots that got suffocated while they were alive will go brown and dark, and you can actually see them. In most tutorials, you will see that you should cut away everything that looks brown and dark and rotting and so on. But not many people tell you you should check the roots to see if they're actually alive, even if they're white, because this sort of thing doesn't happen that often. Usually orchids are watered too often in stores, not never, you know, but this can happen as well. So this is the result of dehydrated roots, desiccated roots. They do die if you don't water them for a month, let's say, and it's very warm. They will eventually die. Now, if you leave everything in the pot, after about 6 months, let's say, up to a year, depends on your environment, you will start to feel the media go very, very bad. It will start to actually form molds, it will start to smell bad. The pot, you will notice, will stay soggy more than it should, even in bark and so on. Now, there was a discussion on that video between some of my YouTube friends. It was a very friendly discussion, not in any way rude or anything, but one of my viewers here was asking, if it's a good idea to actually cut all these dead roots. What if they can actually absorb some water? What if actually they can help out the plant? And that I always advise to cut all these dead roots because they will decompose and so on. There was a debate whether we should cut all the roots or not, if it's okay if they start to decompose or not. So I will stress again the idea that I mentioned in the comments. If you're not comfortable with what I do, with the massacre that I do, then don't do it, because I can understand sometimes you do not have a trained eye, you did not necessarily go through some experiences, or you might just have a different opinion, and the best way to learn something is by doing it yourself. If you are that type of person like I am that wants to try out stuff for herself or himself, then by all means don't be so drastic and see the results. The actions that I do are based on my experience, and I don't do stuff just because I read them. You might very well know that I'm a skeptic. I do stuff because I went through some other stuff. You might not go through the same experiences that I go through, and you might actually have different instances. And I will admit, many things that I do are just preventive, like the whole hydrogen peroxide thing. Maybe this orchid didn't have snails, but I don't know that, and I like to prevent stuff because I have such a hard time with snails. But if you didn't have any snails ever at all, you might not understand why I do certain things. So the bottom line is, I try to give the safest advice and the best advice and the stuff that I actually went through and had a lot of trouble with. Not necessarily the stuff I read about, because I don't really believe all that I read. But if you're not comfortable or you don't agree with something that I say, it doesn't mean you have to do what I say. I don't have the final word, and I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to orchids. I just do stuff because I believe it is better in the long run, and it turned out to be better for me. But I'm certainly not always right. So if you're not comfortable with chopping everything off, don't chop them off, and actually you will go through some experiences that will validate your action or will devalidate your action. Depends on your particular case, environment, and so on. So with experience, you will actually get the answers for yourself. Anyway, this is what I wanted to tell you. This is what I wanted to show you. For orchid is gonna be okay, because I see quite a lot of root tips starting to grow here. Now these roots seem to be pretty alive, these 3 roots right here, but everything in the back, everything is dead, everything will be chopped off, but she'll be okay, she's a big girl. Alrighty, so thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos from me, don't forget to subscribe. You can leave me comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. You can also visit orchidnature.com for care sheets and identification sheets and forums, and you can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'll see you next time. Bye!